Hey folks, this is Gray here, and in today's video I want to talk about prepper pantry security. A lot of us have thousands and thousands of dollars wrapped up into our prepper pantry. From food to medical supplies to all different odds and ends that we keep in these pantries. Most of them are just behind an unlocked door or a basic door, which is very easy to kind of go in there. You never know if you have friends, families, or just company over. Someone might sneak in there and possibly take a few things. Or maybe someone breaks into your home and they head for that, and it's, you know, the sign of the times that we're in. There's a lot of people out there that can't even afford basic necessities like food. So do you think that you should add some extra layers of security to your prepper pantry? Now, what I'm going to be talking about in this video is this specific electronic lock, right? And I think it's by Elemake. That's the proper pronunciation. And it uses a digital keypad, also fingerprint. It also has a key and all these other things that you can use for it. But the question is what I really purchased this or got this unit for is because it also keeps a log of every person that goes into that room. So be it if someone in the middle of the afternoon uses their thumbprint or a key code to get into that room, it's going to give me a log of the time and date that everybody walks into that prepper pantry, so that there's some sort of accountability. So I can say, okay, well, you went in there, but you didn't mark off that you took 2 cans of beans and 3 cans of chicken. So there has to be always some accountability, and this is probably even works better for people that are in larger families, or maybe you live in a homestead or a shared environment where you guys share a pantry, where you want to kind of keep things on. I'm very meticulous on my pantry. I want to know how many things in there. I want to make sure everything is rotated properly. I want to make everything as efficient as possible so that there's no mistakes down the road. And then again, when I talk about the extra layer of security of having a door or a locking mechanism, that is just not easily as turning a doorknob and opening the door and having access to my pantry. This also being said, what I need to do outside of just doing this is I'm thinking about replacing the door with a solid core door, because most homes are built with kind of those hollow doors and you can kind of kick those in. Now, some people say, well, Gray, I could just put a deadbolt on there. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. You could put a deadbolt on there. That would be a little bit more cost effective than buying something like this. But how long does it take you to, make sure that you have the key to that deadbolt and all the work that you associate it with installing the deadbolt? Not saying that it's, something very labor intensive, but I'm trying to think, if you lose the keys to that deadbolt, then what do? You have to kick the door down and break it. So what I like about this specific lock set that I put on my prepper pantry is that I can unlock it either via my phone, via fingerprint, via the keypad, or via key. So there's multiple ways to do this. And then what I really thought was very interesting about this unit is if the batteries that are inside this locking mechanism, they happen to die and you lose your keys, what do you do then, right? Well, you can use a power bank and plug it in underneath it to this USB port to apply power to that so that you can have power to the locking mechanism to use it. So this is the kind of the reason why I honed in on this specific lock. And again, if you, let's say you have a window in there, you might want to secure that window. Some people use hurricane shutters here in Florida to secure certain rooms because it makes it a lot harder to break in there. So these are other things that I want to add additional layers of security to my prepper pantry. Anyways, enough of me rambling. I'm going to show you what's in the box. I'm going to show you how I installed this, how I use the app. And one other thing that I noticed about the app is you can also set a duress code. So let's say you put in a specific code, it sends a duress signal to your phone so that you know that someone was forcibly made to go into that room. So outside of just using this for a food pantry, you can possibly also use it for other parts of your home. Maybe you have a room that outside of a safe that you have lots of ammunition in there, or whatever are your valuables that you have saved up. If it's not in a safe, it's in a specific room, you can track who's going into that room, and if someone sends a duress signal, then you can call 911 because they're not able to do so, and kind of stop what's happening as fast as possible for the safety of you and your family. All right, so let's go see what's in the box. Let's go see me attempt to install this, and then see what your guys' thoughts are. Right? Let's take a look at what you get in this box here. Again, this is the Elemake Keyless Fingerprint Smart Door Lock. You get the housing, the door lock itself. That's where the fingerprint thing is there. Of course, the keypad will be on this side. And of course, there is an emergency or a backup redundancy for the locking system here as well. And then in here is where you're going to put your batteries, and that's the cap there that screws in. You get a striker plate, a set of keys. This is if you want to use Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and have an app on your phone to power that. The plate for the door. You got the 4 screws, and as well as the 2 other screws that are going to go inside this plate here to make sure that everything's nice and tight on that end of it. I don't know why they give you a pair of gloves, maybe, I don't know, to make it look pretty or whatnot. Those won't fit my hand, as you can tell. And this is the thing that kind of corresponds to the app over there. We'll discuss that. You got your little important read before installation, and then of course the first user's manual. So this is the kind of what you get in the box stuff here. Let's go ahead and do the install. Another thing I wanted to mention, all you really need to do to install this entire thing is 1 Phillips screwdriver, and make sure you have some double A's. I'm going to use rechargeable because it just saves me long-term and battery consumption. For using something like this, even though it takes minimal power, I just like to use rechargeables. That way I'm just not always buying battery after battery after battery. All right, assuming that you've already removed your original door hardware, and then I kind of get all my things set up here so that we can do the install here to the door. Or we're going to go ahead and start with that now. If you've ever put a doorknob on, it's pretty much the same premise. The only thing really different about this doorknob here is that you want to make sure you run the wire out to the other side. If you can see in there, it's the same type of mechanism where the 2 screws are going to attach in here to the other part of the doorknob. We'll go ahead and attach that now. But remember, don't forget to run your wire through there so that you have it to connect to the battery plate on the other side. We have attached that. I also want to show you that when you're putting this doorknob on, you want to feed your wire through here, again, to connect to this battery plate on the other side. So everything is going to be nice and tight now on both sides. You can see the lock will turn from the inside of the pantry room, but nothing on the outside until we get it all set up. What we want to do is we want to attach the back plate or the battery plate to this unit here. I'm going to go ahead and attach that there, and then you'll have your 2 screws, and these has springs on it, so it's going to give you a little bit of a pushback, right? So when you put your springs in there, you kind of want to, you're going to have to hold that on there while you are screwing this thing in. Also, once you get these 2 screws in, this is a reset button on the inside that you can always reset this whole lock system up if you had to. So that's always a nice redundancy to these kind of smart locks. But we had this installed. I like the finish, right? I do like the finish of this and how it looks. But I wish there was like, they gave you some like little plugs to cover these screws up. I know it's on the inside of the pantry room itself, but it'd be nice if there was like a little magnetic plate that would cover that, or maybe some little things that you can stick in here to kind of hide those screws. I'll look again in the packaging, but I didn't see anything like that. Now that you have the back plate on and the batteries installed, you want to touch this screen just to make sure that it's functioning so that you can see that everything is lighting up. So you got your keypad here, you got your fingerprint sensor up there, so you have everything set up on there correctly before you move any further. Now the next step is going to be to download the app and to get all your fingerprints and code set up through this unit here. And that's also how you'll track who's coming in and out of your pantry room, or whatever you decide to use a lock like this for. All right, so now once you have this set up, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and open up the app and go into the settings and record your thumbprint. And I'll put that up on the screen, but basically once you go into the settings, you'll put your thumb here and it'll record it, and you'll keep on tapping it until it gets your thumb there to get it all recorded and whatnot. And then it'll ask you if you want to also set up a password on the front screen outside of just doing this. So you'll go ahead and tap that screen, it'll light up, you'll enter your password, and then it'll unlock the door. Now I want to show you a quick feature. When you use your thumbprint when you're using it, you'll hear that beep if it doesn't read it correctly. And then if you do use your thumbprint, you'll hear that and you'll notice the door unlocks. But it only do it for a few seconds. So after about 3 seconds, this will disengage and you cannot open the door anymore. So it gives you enough time to open the door and get in and then lock it behind you. It automatically has that locking mechanism. So I'll show you that again. Unlock the door. You'll see that that mechanism moves, and then you'll notice it stops. So that's kind of a nice little security feature with that. And as a fail-safe, you do have keys to the system so that if it's in a locking position, you can unlock the door as well from underneath. So that's also a thing that you can use, and I would suggest putting your keys up somewhere safe. Basically, I'm going to probably keep mine in a safe just because I'll be using the digital aspect of this more than I will be using the actual physical key. And the last thing I want is to get in someone else's hands or lose the key. All right, last but not least, one thing I wanted to show you is, let's say you have lost your keys. Let's say the batteries in here are dead and you just have no way of opening this door. Well, it also comes with a backup here that you can plug this little USB cable in here, plug this into a battery pack, use this battery pack, and it'll apply power to this unit here, so that if you need power, you can see how that's still going to light up even without batteries. So I thought that was a nice redundancy to have to a system like this, that you can use a battery pack as backup power. Very cool. All right, folks, that was actually pretty simple to install. Wasn't too bad. With a simple Phillips head screwdriver, everything installed very easily. Like I said, there's a few steps that you want to make sure that you do. I'm very happy with the lock itself like that. So I'm very curious, as always, anytime I do any type of video, I'm always looking forward to reading your comments, because do you think something like this is necessary? Do you think it's just kind of over the top, something that's unnecessary? Or do you think that this is something that maybe I have something and we could work on that, right? You know what I mean? Like, you have this layer of security, now you want to add some more and some more and some more. Like, I want to add a solid core door to the pantry room. I also want to add, I do have a camera in there as well that's motion sensitive, that when people walk in there, you know, people, hey, you smile, you're on camera kind of thing like that. So I have multiple layers of security for my prepper pantry, because this is something that I've worked a long time on stocking up the foods that I've stocked. And not only that, my medical pantry is in there as well. So there's a lot of medications and other things in there that are very valuable to me and my family. So who knows, you know, how far we can take this. But, you know, do you think that this is something that you would use, or something that you would add as a layer of security or accountability in your prep room? Or would you use it somewhere else in the house? So anyways, look forward to reading your thoughts down in the comments. As always, remember, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys in a rebound, and God bless, and thank you for watching.